This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
Right now, Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill is out of jail following her arrest.
Hill took advantage of one of the community's most vulnerable citizens.
Ahead, the punishment she faces if convicted and what would happen if Governor Ron DeSantis removes her from office.
Plus, Orlando police have made an arrest in a deadly shooting outside the Central Florida Fairgrounds. The charges a teenager is facing this morning.
And this United Launch Alliance rocket is still in the launch pad this morning. Coming up, the issue that scrubbed its final liftoff. 6 o'clock on this Friday, March 29th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kirsten Delgado.
And I'm Alexa Lorenzo. We get you going with certified meteorologist Cassandra Crimi as we look forward to that Easter weekend.
Yeah, you know, and some beautiful weather. We are going to have a nice stretch over the next couple of days, including that holiday weekend. And it all starts right now. We take you outside live downtown Orlando. Still those dark skies. The sun doesn't come up until about 7:18. So we've got still about an hour of darkness before we get that glow on the horizon. But our temperature now sitting at 60 degrees. We're back into the low 60s. Most of us, though, in the 50s. And for the first time this morning, we've dropped into the 40s over in parts of Sumter County. You can see 47 degrees in Bushnell this morning. So it is a refreshingly cool start, 10 to 15 degrees cooler than yesterday for most of us. Some of us even more than 15 degrees cooler with clear skies that will turn to a lot of sunshine as we get past that 7:18 hour. But today through the weekend, we've got a nice stretch of weather and a lot of sunshine headed your way. Today, 70s. 80s this weekend. I'll have more on that coming up. 6:01's our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
Slow go this morning on I-95. This is southbound at LPGA Boulevard. You can see right here just a few cars moving through with all those brake lights behind. One lane of traffic is causing these intense backups. It's one lane open for an overturned semi this morning. Give yourself some extra time if this is typically part of your morning commute. Then we show you a crash on 192 in Siesta Lago Drive. Make sure you're taking it slow with crews working this scene. Our Live and Drive is out and about, letting us know how things are moving this morning. So far, so smooth on our highways. No major shakeups this morning, especially right here on I-4 near the exit to the 436.
This morning, Channel 9 continues to follow a big developing story here in Orlando. Commissioner Regina Hill is facing criminal charges, and this is video of her leaving the Orange County Jail after her arrest yesterday morning. Now, Eyewitness News was the first to tell you about FDLE's claims that Hill took advantage of a 96-year-old constituent and used falsified documents to buy a home and other luxuries with that victim's money. Channel 9's Sam Martello's live for us at Orlando City Hall this morning, and Sam, Hill could spend years behind bars.
Kirsten, if she is convicted of these charges, she could spend the rest of her life in prison. The Orlando City Commissioner denies any wrongdoing in this case.
No problem.
And while Hill is out on bond, it's very likely she'll be stripped of her title as Commissioner of District 5. So, of course, we are going to continue to monitor that if it happens today.
Now, Sam, if Hill was removed, the city would hold a special election to fill that seat. When could that happen?
Yeah, the city has been in talks with the supervisor of elections office to decide on dates for that special election. We're told that it could be as soon as this summer, all depending on when and if the governor does suspend her from her seat. And that person that fills her seat would serve in that role until 2026. Live in Orlando, Sam Martello, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
As soon as we learned about Hill's arrest, we sent you this breaking news alert through the WFTV News app. We'll continue to post the latest details there as well, so it's free to download in the Apple App Store and on Google Play.
Right now, Orlando police say a suspect in a shooting outside the Central Florida Fairgrounds has been arrested. We showed you this scene at the beginning of the month. Police say that shooting killed this woman right here, 35-year-old Veronica Ramirez. She was a teacher's aide in Lake County. Then fast forward almost 4 weeks and police announced this person, Jaden Maxey, is now in custody. Channel 9's Q McCrae joins us live at Orlando Police headquarters this morning. And Q, that suspect is just 15 years old.
Yes, we're talking about a kid here this morning, just 15 years old. And if history is any indicator, he will likely be tried as an adult for this accused crime. Currently, he's behind bars at the Orange County Juvenile Detention Center. Now, Maxie was arrested by OPD's Fugitive Investigation Unit, which is the same group of officers who arrested the prime suspect in the story we brought you yesterday morning, Christopher Burke, who was wanted for murder 4 years ago, for a crime he's accused of committing 4 years ago. Reporting live, Q McCrae, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
Right now, the state is continuing to pull even more Floridians out of Haiti. This is new video of another 32 people who landed at Orlando International just last night. They're among the more than 100 people the state has evacuated amid gang violence in Haiti. Governor Ron DeSantis spoke with the state's efforts in a press conference yesterday.
It's not just chartering a plane and an orderly people get on. I mean, there are people in situations that require assistance on the ground to be able to get where they need to go, and our guys have been able to do that.
Right now, there are still hundreds of Americans trapped in Haiti this morning.
Monday is the deadline for the state Supreme Court to release opinions on whether two proposed constitutional amendments can go on your ballot. One proposed amendment seeks to ensure abortion rights. The other would allow people ages 21 and older to use recreational marijuana. Justices must sign off on the wording of each measure before they are put on the November ballot.
Happening today, Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings and his Veterans Advisory Council will recognize those who served during the Vietnam War. Today is National Vietnam Veterans Day. There's a ceremony to thank and honor the armed forces who served during that time. It'll begin at 10 this morning at the Lake Nona VA Medical Center.
The Federal Reserve is expected to release new inflation numbers this morning. It comes as the latest data shows this year's economic indicators like the labor market are staying resilient. We'll let you know what the Federal Reserve says today on Eyewitness News at noon. Approaching 6:10, we get you over to Severe Weather Center 9 with Cassie Crimmy.
And outside early this morning, we've got some nice changes in our temperatures. We are down 10 to about 15 degrees in most spots. That puts us in the 50s in most locations. We do have a couple of outliers. Orlando, we've kind of bumped back right at 60 degrees, but also Bushnell this morning, 47 degrees. So a nice change, a refreshing change. We are going to keep our mornings on the cooler side over the next couple of mornings that last through the weekend. At least we'll be tracking a lot of 50s, but we'll also see a lot of sunshine. That's going to be headed our way today. The sun comes up in just about an hour and 10 minutes, and we are going to see nothing but sunshine for the rest of our Friday and a great stretch of weather as we head into the weekend. So for your Friday workers, if you're outdoors today, mid-70s, nothing too hot, also nothing too wet. I'm not tracking showers for our morning, midday, or evening. Winds are going to be down quite a bit from where we were yesterday, and really the big hazards that we'll see is the sunshine. So make sure you wear that sunscreen. But we will take you to some warmer temperatures this weekend, all coming up. 6:10 is now our time. Here's a check of the roads.
We have a deadly crash investigation right here on International Speedway Boulevard and Lanscam Lane. It's in the Daytona area. Your alternate route is going to be I-4 westbound. It's right near Daytona High Bridge Estates. So if you typically move through here, you will see crews shutting down this area for a deadly crash investigation. At this point, troopers tell us that crash happened early this morning around 5. So we're still watching them piece together this one. Then staying in Volusia County, we have a crash on I-95 southbound at LPGA Boulevard. You can see one lane of traffic squeezing through here. This crash involves an overturned tractor trailer. At this point, crews are still working to investigate. There were no injuries for that crash. This morning, people who live at a Volusia County motel say they're being forced to leave.
Coming up, we're digging into renovations needed at that site to comply with city codes. And the Biden administration has approved a multi-million-dollar request from the state of Maryland. Next, how that money will help the Port of Baltimore reopen after Tuesday's bridge collapse. It's 6:11.
Drone 9, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, getting you closer over the scene of breaking news.
Drone 9, sponsored by StrataAC.com. You ought to call Strata.
Traffic updates are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of South Orlando.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill
has been arrested.
The first station to break the news that Regina Hill was under investigation.
Well, this affidavit shows that Commissioner Regina Hill has been under an FDLE investigation.
With team coverage as she surrendered to police.
Hill turned herself in to FDLE this morning.
As this story continues to develop.
This all stems from the case Channel 9 was the first to tell you about a week ago.
Stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Coverage you can count on.
Approaching 6:15 on this Good Friday, taking a live look at downtown Orlando right now. 6 degrees ahead of a great weekend ahead of Easter Sunday. Your full forecast coming up with certified meteorologist Cassie Crimmy. This morning, the race to reopen the Port of Baltimore continues after Tuesday's bridge collapse.
That cargo ship that hit it is still in the water this morning, and the Biden administration has now approved a major request from the state of Maryland to help pay for emergency work there. Today, a federal judge will hear arguments in a lawsuit over a state law. The law states public school employees cannot tell students to call them by their preferred pronouns if it does not align with their sex at birth. The two teachers who filed this suit claim the First Amendment and civil rights are being violated. Right now, we're giving you a live look over Lake Eola Park, where an organization raised a whole lot of money for children battling critical illnesses. It was busy out there.
Last night, hundreds of people walked around the lake for the 17th annual Morgan & Morgan Walk for Wishes. That fundraiser helps make a wish with nearly 300 children across the country. This year's walk helped raise nearly $390,000. This morning, Universal is revealing more details about its newest theme park, Epic Universe.
It's getting real. We're getting a closer look at the land based on How to Train Your Dragon, the movie franchise. This video shows what it could look like when you enter the Isle of Berk. There will be 3 rides, including a roller coaster and a boat ride, as well as a stage show, meet and greets, and more. Epic Universe is expected to open next summer. Next summer.
How is it already here?
Right? I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
It is.
It's
And
almost
just
April.
the progression of that. And it is almost April. I know. Every time I go, every day this week, I've been like, April's almost here.
You're right. It's almost
End of
summer.
March. Yeah.
It's almost Christmas. Get out the Christmas. I mean, that's where my head's at.
It's too fast. Yeah,
It is. But look, they're like, stop talking about time moving forward. We get you outside over downtown Orlando. Comfortable out there. 60 degrees right now for Orlando. We're really one of the only 60s we have. There is a lot of 50s. There are even some 40s over in Bushnell, 47 degrees. This is almost 15 degrees cooler, and really most locations this morning. We had that front roll through yesterday. It brought us some of the showers for the first half of the day, and then the clearing through the afternoon yesterday, and we are going to reap the benefits of it today, and really it's going to last through the weekend as well. We've got a very pleasant stretch of weather headed our direction. Perfect timing really for the holiday weekend headed our direction. So lots of sunshine today. Orlando, hour by hour, we have those temperatures climbing into the mid 70s, which is going to keep us below the normal 80s. We're not going to see 80s for today. They'll be back this weekend, but today we get that relief. Humidity will be low. Temperatures will be comfortable with the mid to upper 70s in a few spots. Some low 70s as well, especially our northern beaches. Volusia County, Flagler County, we could even have some 60s. We're watching still the surf 4 to 5 feet and the rip current risk as well if you are going to be beach bound. But look at those temperatures. 68 in Palm Coast, 73 degrees in Cocoa Beach, and inland mid to upper 70s. So Kissimmee today, 78, 79 in Winter Haven, Claremont, Ocoee, we'll get to about 76 degrees. So really a perfect day with the highs in the 70s. Tomorrow, Sunday, we'll have the 80s returning, still lots of sunshine and still cool mornings to start each day. As we head into next week, we continue to heat things up. So your outlook for the weekend, mostly sunny both days, 81 for Saturday, 84 degrees on Sunday. Winds will be mild, nothing too strong or extreme, nothing too breezy for us. So really a gorgeous next stretch of weather. But as we head into next week, we've got temperatures closing in on 90 and actually hitting 90 on Tuesday. 6:20 is now our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We have a deadly crash investigation this morning in Volusia County. This is on International Speedway Boulevard and Lanscam Lane. Your westbound lanes are blocked, so you want to take I-4 as your alternate route. Crews have this area again blocked off as they piece together a deadly crash involving a pedestrian. Then we have slow traffic on I-95 southbound at LPGA Boulevard. You can see right here within the last few moments. They have shut this down completely with a wrecker now on scene. It involves an overturned semi, so this is going to take some time to clear this morning. We're putting together that alternate route for you right now, but at this point, drivers are choosing to exit here at LPGA Boulevard, moving southbound on 95 to avoid this closure. Right now, Vice President at Duke Energy is inspiring women to tackle a job they may not usually consider.
There's room for us all in this industry.
New this morning, the opportunities, she says, are available this Women's History Month.
And next, the warning from the Better Business Bureau after a retired local teacher says contractors he hired 4 years ago never finished a project at his home. It's 6:21. New this morning, if you drive a Kia, you may need to bring it in for a repair. The company has recalled more than 427,000 Tellurides. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says a main component of the steering wheel may have been improperly assembled, and the SUV can just roll away while in park. The recall includes all Tellurides made between 2020 and 2023, as well as some made in 2024. We're following a major story right here in Orlando. Commissioner Regina Hill has now been arrested on criminal charges.
Coming up, what a defense attorney says we can expect as this case plays out.
And the governor says a new law changes an outdated rule. The impacts he expects businesses to see by selling larger containers of wine.
And outside early this morning, we've got a nice little cool down and beautiful weather headed your way for their holiday stretch. I'll be taking you through your Friday forecast hour by hour coming up. Your time now, 6:26.
This Tower Cam shot, sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
On the next wheel.
Kayaking, hiking, that's what we love to do.
Everyone wants a trip to cook over a campfire. Except Pat.
I hate when I get elk grease stains on my vest.
Brought to you by Orlando Health.
This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning. Coverage you can count on.
This morning, an Orlando City Commissioner is officially facing criminal charges that could land her years in prison if convicted.
They dotted their I's and they crossed their T's before they took it to the grand jury.
How that defense attorney expects this case to unfold.
Plus, 2 people are recovering after fighting a fire at this Seminole County home ahead. Why the flames there weren't the only challenge they faced.
And why the governor says a new law involving wine is a major win for businesses across the state of Florida. Good morning. It is 6:30 on this Good Friday. I'm Alexa Lorenzo.
And I'm Kirsten Delgado. Let's get over to certified meteorologist Cassie Grimmy with your Good Friday weather in a minute.
That's right. And the first thing you will notice is the cool down that we have. Temperatures outside close to about 15 degrees cooler for most of us. That's putting us in the 50s, almost widespread. The exception is we have some 60s in Orlando. We also have some 60s over in Cocoa Beach where we're sitting at 64. But also the exception on the cooler side over in Bushnell where we're out the door to 47 degrees. So it is a noticeably cooler start to our day. We're going to have clear skies, lots of sunshine though as we head through the afternoon, and our timeline hour by hour, it's really looking nice. Lots of sunshine. We'll head towards the 70s and we'll get there right at around lunchtime. And then we're just peaking today in the mid to upper 70s. At our beaches, we'll have a few low 70s, so a little bit cooler there. But as we head towards the weekend, the sunshine, the dry weather will continue for us. Temperatures will climb just a little bit. We'll have 80s back, some more seasonal levels for our holiday weekend. But then as we head into next week, it gets warmer and we've got a chance for rain, which we'll talk about it coming up in my full forecast. 6:31 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We're following a deadly crash investigation this morning in Volusia County. This is International Speedway Boulevard and Lanscam Lane. Your westbound lanes are blocked, so you want to take I-4 as your best alternate route. Then we have slow traffic on I-95 this morning, but now this area is shut down with crews on scene. This tow truck trying to get over a semi. You can see it right there. Look at the left side of your screen. That semi overturned in this crash right there, coming up right now as we watch that live. Hopefully we'll start seeing at least one lane once again open through this area. If this is part of your drive, you want to drive through this area and then exit at LPGA Boulevard and use that as your alternate route this morning. We'll have more details ahead.
Right now, we're following a developing story in Orlando where the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has arrested Commissioner Regina Hill. Now, this is a video of her first appearance before a judge on those charges just yesterday afternoon.
The judge granted her a $40,000 bond, which she paid. She was released in the afternoon.
Sam, thank you. And after Hill's arrest, we went to her district to get reaction from the people that she serves. District 5 is a place where Hill has advocated for more jobs, education, and anti-crime initiatives. Neighbors said they feel a sense of shock and disbelief, as well as confusion as to why she would put her position and the growth of her community at risk.
But one thing I do know, she did grow up in the community like the rest of us, and she tried to put her best foot forward.
To know that type of crime happened in my neighborhood where we try to protect our elderly neighbors is very upsetting.
People we spoke to want to see the case through before condemning Hill. They also think their community can bounce back no matter what happens. Now, stay with us here on Channel 9 and WFTV.com. We will continue to follow this developing story for you as the criminal case against Commissioner Hill moves forward. Here's some good news for wine lovers. You'll soon see larger glass bottles of wine on sale at your favorite store. Governor Ron DeSantis signed that bill just yesterday. That new law will allow wine to be sold in containers that can be as large as 15 liters. That's 4 gallons of wine. The governor said the measure changes an outdated law that isn't good for businesses or consumers.
We want our businesses to thrive. We want our consumers to be happy. And if that means they want to buy and sell a big old bottle of wine like this, then by golly, they're going to be able to do that in the state of Florida.
The governor called the new rules a good example of cutting unnecessary red tape. That new law goes into effect on July 1st. 6:39 on this Good Friday, getting a check of your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
And outside early this morning, we are definitely cooler, close to about 15 degrees cooler across central Florida. A lot of us are going to be stepping out the door to 50s. Some of us 40s and low 50s. So those numbers are coming in Bushnell, so parts of Sumter County, also parts of Marion and Flagler County, where we're in the low 50s. So as we're getting the kiddos ready for their Friday, the last Friday before Easter weekend, you may want to throw them into a hoodie or a sweatshirt early this morning, something that they'll be able to shed though later this afternoon, because t-shirts really in play by later today with temperatures climbing into the 70s. We're getting to about 76 degrees in Orlando with a whole lot of sunshine. It is going to be very pleasant across the area. You can see the hour by hour putting our temperatures into the low 70s by lunch, and then continuing later into the afternoon into the mid 70s. We will have a few upper 70s, Kissimmee, Winter Haven, Bushnell, 77 to about 79 degrees. But then also on the flip side, our coastline will just be a touch cooler, some upper 60s and low 70s for this afternoon. But as we move forward into the weekend, cool mornings continue. Afternoons warm though. I'll take you through those numbers coming up. 6:41 is our time. We'll get a check of the roads with Alexa.
We have all lanes closed this morning on I-95. This is moving southbound at LPGA Boulevard. You can see right here, tow trucks are on scene working this crash. It involved an overturned semi. We watched this morning as crews were able to get that semi back upright. There's still work to be done in this area, so you will be able to see this stop traffic if you move on through. And if you drive through here, you want to exit immediately at LPGA Boulevard and rejoin then I-95, because you will get caught in the backups. They'll stretch for several miles. You can also exit at US 92 and take Williamson Boulevard to LPGA and then rejoin after this crash. There are difficult alternate routes through there this morning. And staying in Volusia County, we're following a deadly crash. This is on International Speedway Boulevard and Lanscam. Your westbound lanes are blocked. Take I-4 as an alternate.
Crews just removed a massive creature from a Florida neighborhood.
Very surprised to see something like this happen in the neighborhood.
Coming up, how they found out a nearly 9-foot gator was living in a storm drain.
And this woman climbed the corporate ladder to become a vice president within Duke Energy. New this morning, how she's inspiring other women to join a male-dominated field. 6:42.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the Law Offices of Attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose results. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Throughout this Women's History Month, we've shared with you some of the incredible women that are leading the way for the next generation of female leaders.
And new this morning, you're about to meet one more. Laquita Gent is a vice president within Duke Energy, and along with making sure your lights stay on, she's lighting the way for other women to enter a male-dominated field. New this morning, Cadbury has named its new spokes bunny ahead of Easter Sunday, and it comes from right here in Florida.
But it is no bunny at all. Hershey has selected Louie, 2-year-old raccoon from South Florida, to appear in an upcoming commercial. Louie was selected in a bracket-style elimination tournament on Instagram. Previous winners included a rescue cat, a frog, and 3 different dogs. Louie, you're looking good as the spokes bunny for this Easter.
That elimination bracket sounds intense.
Yeah. You know, and when you said came right here from Florida, I was like, we got a gator as the Cadbury bunny, but
one of these days,
pleasantly
just
surprised.
you wait.
Yeah. Outside, look at this beautiful shot. The sun's getting close to coming up. We've got that glow off on the distance. Official sunrise this morning isn't until 7:17 in Daytona Beach. But look at our temperatures. They're much cooler this morning, 56 degrees. A lot of 50s around Central Florida, even some low 50s and 40s. Sumter County, you are our cold spot this morning. Bushnell, we're waking up to 47 degrees. 60 in Orlando, also some mid-60s over in Cocoa Beach. Clear skies, lots of sunshine headed our way over the next 30 minutes, and that's something we're going to continue to hold on to through the entirety of this afternoon. We get beyond that into next week. We're upper 80s and even 90s. More clouds will start to thicken up, and by Wednesday, we'll have the chance for some additional showers and storms. That's with our next cool front, and that cool front will bring our levels back down by Thursday. We're highs back in the 70s. 6:49 is our time. We're going to check the roads with Alexa.
One lane back open on I-95. This is southbound right at LPGA Boulevard. Crews this morning are working a crash that involved an overturned semi. We watched this morning as crews with the tow trucks were able to flip that semi back upright. So we are now seeing at least one lane open. It's heavy backup. So you can exit here at LPGA, then immediately rejoin I-95. If you're getting caught in those backups, which are stretching for miles right now, you can exit at US 92 and then take Williamson Boulevard to LPGA and rejoin after the crash. Staying in Volusia, we have a deadly crash investigation shutting down the westbound lanes this morning of International Speedway at Lanscam. Take I-4 westbound as an alternate. Up next, the reaction from neighbors in Florida after a massive gator was pulled out of a storm drain. And ahead on TV 27, when it comes to the real estate market, prices are up and inventory down. Why home buyers are still celebrating some good news, though, today.
Well, it's the stuff that horror movies are made of, but it actually happened in real life here in Southwest Florida.
This video shows state wildlife crews pulling an 8-foot, 9-inch long alligator out of a storm drain. One man says his neighbor was cutting grass when he looked down and saw the reptile. Neighbors say they're used to seeing fish in the drains after heavy rain, but definitely not this.
But that's just fish, a big deal. But this is a different thing. My little grandson got to see, you know, what Florida can really be like in certain days.
Scary Florida there. FWC was able to capture and relocate that gator to a farm in South Florida. A final check of that Easter forecast with Cassie Crimmy on Channel 9.
Yeah, it is going to be a beautiful day. It is going to be a beautiful weekend. Today, those afternoon highs are peaking in the low to mid 70s. You can see 77 degrees today in Sanford, 78 degrees in Orlando. But if we take you through that 7-day forecast with our weekend always in view, lots of sunshine in 80s for both days this weekend. Still, though, cool mornings for both Saturday and Sunday. And then we get hot as we head into next week. Kirsten.
Your complete local news coverage continues right now on Eyewitness News this morning, just over on TV 27.
Coming up there, Orlando City Commissioner Regina Hill is officially facing criminal charges. Consequences she could face if convicted. For news, weather, and traffic in your car, tune into WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Have a happy Easter weekend.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple is reportedly rolling out updated iPads for the first time in nearly 2 years. A launch in May is rumored to include new iPad Pro models featuring the M3 chip and OLED displays. It's also expected to debut a larger iPad Air with a 12.9-inch screen. Amazon One is launching a new service that uses palm recognition. Users can take photos of their palms with their phones and then link them to their accounts. That allows them to scan their palms for payment at Amazon and Whole Foods stores stores, along with more than 150 third-party locations. Finally, YouTube is testing a new jump ahead feature. It's similar to skipping ahead 10 seconds, but in jump ahead, it analyzes watch data to automatically pick points of interest in a video. Currently, it's only available for testing by some premium account users. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Have a great day.
Traffic updates are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of South Orlando.
Every day on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, we hold the government accountable.
She receives a notice from Social Security. You've been overpaid approximately $210,000. We just can't get through to anyone at Social Security to do what they're supposed to do. She doesn't owe this money to them.
Helping you when you can't get answers.
And I've complied with everything they asked me for.
What is your biggest fear at this point?
Losing my home.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News is coverage you can count on.